guys, SKNOVA here. So I'm going to do a little bit of a different video today. I did a spider den video to kind of show off the team that I use, and maybe it wasn't taken the best by everybody. It's not always helpful to show a video with a lot of legendaries killing bosses because that's not realistic for most people. So I get that. So I took it as constructive criticism. And I think I'm actually going to spawn a little bit of a new series here that I call the No Legendary series. So I want to show most of the dungeons without using any legendaries, just with epics. And it's actually very interesting because it made me rethink my teams a bit, made me rethink who I would want to use, why I'd want to use them. And I was talking a bunch about double Cold Heart on Spider and how good Cold Heart was. So figure what better opportunity than to show it off here right now. So here is stage 15, Spider's Den on auto with no legendaries. Let's see how it does. So one thing you might notice is this is a force boss, a force affinity, and Tyrell is a magic affinity, which is normally weak against the force affinity, and that is done on purpose. So one of my problems that I was having before was Cold Heart was dying too early. So I think I talked about this previous video where I would use Sir Nicholas, who happens to be a legendary, to provide the unkillable and the continuous heal and the shield, which made made Cold Heart survive a little better. When I switched to the no legendary team, I had to think, well, how am I going to protect Cold Heart now? I don't have another character with shields. Maybe I could put another healer. Should I level up Doom Priest or something like that, or use Vrask, right? There's a few healer choices that I have at 50 that maybe I could get to 60. That sounded a lot of work, or like a lot of work. And I thought, you know what? Why don't I just use a off affinity? Because typically, knowing how the AI works, the AI will tend to attack the off affinity piece, even if they're more tanky and defensive than your other characters, right? Higher health pool, more defensive, doesn't matter. Off affinity is the worst. So Tyrell is a character that I use on the clan boss, so he's got quite a bit of defense. He's also wearing the lifesteal set. I'll show you my gear and masteries after the video. My Cold Heart was level 30-ish this morning. I happen to have a ton of void potions, which I don't use a lot, and so I speed leveled her up. Got her to 54. She is 6-star, fully ascended. She has like the first 2 tiers of masteries, so not a lot. Some okay gear, not maxed out gear, so she's not geared up as much as the other Cold Heart. So the 54 Cold Heart is, 2/3 of what the level 60 Cold Heart is. Maybe you can see that their damage from Heartseeker that they did is actually not too far apart. And so I needed a healer, so I went with Steel Skull. He's my top non-legendary healer. Once I got Bad L, I kind of didn't need another healer. His throughput was just so high, the healing throughput, I felt like was really needed. Steel Skull is great for the increased defense, as well as the poison, so you actually do quite a bit of damage for a healer on the clan boss. Plus he has like a cleanse to remove stuns. All of that was great. I kept using Sylar. Sylar is great because of her turn meter reduction, which is important. Tyrell also has turn meter reduction. Cold Heart has turn meter reduction. And this team worked out amazingly well. Doesn't always work out that great. So that was one of the faster times I think I've had with the non-legendary team, mostly because Tyrell got his decreased defense off right in the beginning. That was another key factor. Without decreased defense, Cold Heart does a lot less damage. Not a bad banner. You can see the level 60 Cold Heart did 1.1 million, and the crappier, just leveled up Cold Heart did 951. Let's look at their gear, because that's going to be important. This is the main Cold Heart I had from the previous video, which I think is geared better. I mean, definitely room for improvement. Accessories are only level 12. She does have pretty good crit damage gloves, but not really stats on them. So I mean, she does have an extra 20% crit from the set, but these 2 pieces themselves are not actually that great. You might be able to get equal to more crit damage and crit and all that kind of stuff, better damage stats from other pieces. So I don't think you need to have crit damage set by any means. you could get the crit damage ability on other types of gloves. Again, her crit I wanted to get around 70%. It's at 68%. Her speed is actually not that high. You can see she only has 4-star boots, but they're crit. I had some immortal pieces which I put on her that had some crit on it. That kind of bumped her up. Her crit damage on this character is higher, right? So it's in the just over 200%. So that's pretty good. And here's the second Cold Heart. I also have a crit set, not quite as good. You can see her crit rate is way higher. I had a lot more crit pieces, and I actually ended up putting crit gloves on her instead, so that's 40%. So if I remove that, she would be at 65%. So I would need to change all the other pieces around to get her closer to 70%. I happen to have these gloves on another character, so I just threw them on here just to give her the crit rate. Her crit damage is less. The speed, crit rate, crit damage are really the main stats I cared about. I mean, attack is important too, but it's kind of secondary because a lot of the damage is just based off of enemy max HP for Heartseeker. The rest of her abilities don't even really care about, and I want to give her survival. So where possible, I put HP. Accuracy and stuff wasn't important too. Don't care about the heal reduction debuff. Don't care about the poison debuff landing on that boss anyways. So pretty much all crit and crit damage. I wouldn't say her gear is excessively good, but it's decent, right? She's only level 4. She's not maxed out yet. I just got the masteries to, get the... So I ran through Minotaur 15, I don't know, 7, 8 times. Got all the scrolls I needed. And that's that. Not overly spectacular. Steel Skull, use him for the clan boss, so he's a little bit more geared up, right? Mostly speed set. He has 232 speed. I chose the immortal set here for a little bit of healing and a little bit more health on him, but they also have decent speed on those pieces, or some speed, I guess, at least. So he's fairly well geared. He's got masteries, he's got War Master, etc., etc. Tyrell, same thing. He's geared up for clan boss with vamping speed. Decent gear, 197 speed. Bottom, well, I guess it's good for vamp set, crit and crit damage. Most of his damage comes from War Master Mastery. So there's those guys. And who else was I using again? Yeah, Sylar. So Sylar is not maxed out yet. Still a ways to go to get masteries. Just maybe like a little bit better than what my Cold Hearts were. I'm only really using her on the clan boss. The main thing is just about the speed, decreased turn meter abilities that she has. And that's all she really needs to do. And she can use that. I mean, I don't have any skills in her. Right, if it was on 4 turns, that would be even better. Spider boss would go down even faster. But, if I get sub 2-minute times, that's all I care about for farming, really. If you can get sub 1 minute or less, that's great. But, 2 minutes for dungeon seems pretty good. I was pretty lucky today. Actually, today was Void Shard day, so I was pretty lucky, and I got 2 new characters, which I will show here. Oh, I guess they're in here. Keep pressing the wrong button. So I did get Lightsworn. I just ranked up to 5 stars. Haven't geared them up yet. I have a ton of Void Potions. That's how I level them up so fast. Sending them a little bit. Potentially, he could be used to replace Tyrell in my speed version. So I already have the decreased defense from Fushan, and I needed the decreased attack debuff, which he provides. He also has a 3-hit. The turn meter doesn't do anything, but he has the advantage of the increased defense and the revive on death, which hopefully you don't have to use too often, or you might get a good use out of it near the end, right? He is a defensive character, so typically he'll be a bit tanky. It's hard to say how I want to build him. Obviously with defense, but and he's going to need the accuracy to keep this decreased attack up, but he also needs a ton of speed. So you can get down to 3 turns, which is not quite as ideal as Tyrell because it's a 2-turn ability. So when you think about it that way, if the boss has say 160-ish speed, his effective speed has to be higher than 240. so that he has to land it every single time, because when it drops off, it's really bad. Whereas Tyrell has it on his A1, so essentially it's 50% chance, or is it 40%? 40% chance. So much more likely to keep that up. When the decreased attack falls off, typically you die in Clan Boss. So that was one new one. I also got Lua. So opened up, I think, 17 Void Shards, and got a couple new heroes. So Lua is also really good. I would have used her over Sylar, most likely. She also has a turn meter reduction. She doesn't have to come with a speed debuff, but she has better AoE. So both were good choices for the spider boss. Not as good as Coldheart. Coldheart really was the key there. And there you go. There is a spider boss kill with no legendaries. And hopefully the explanation of the team helps you make decisions. So some options for swapping out. I'll start another one so you kind of see it live again. So you need to have turn meter reduction where possible. Whenever the spider boss heals, that's just going to add extra time and effort to your killing. You don't need to go just straight AoE. That typically works when the spider boss is on lower levels, not as much health. You just keep clearing out the spiders every turn. Most of the time your AoE characters won't be able to clear out all the spiders in one hit. So then you need multiple AoE characters. And clearing out the spiders isn't really that advantageous either, because they keep getting replaced. And on auto, you can't really plan like you can if you manual the match. You can't really plan for when all the spiders will be cleared. So oftentimes it's a bit of a randomness. So what you want to happen is to be able to do a ton of damage, single target damage to the boss. So look for the characters with the enemy HP, enemy damage based off HP. Coldheart is just a good choice. She has pretty high scaling on that ability. Another potential one to use is like Husk. Then there's a bunch of other ones. I have a list somewhere. I'll have to look it up, but that's one of the main things, so that you can do as much single target damage to spider as possible. You can see in this match here, I don't have the decreased defense debuff, so the Heartseeker ability from Coldheart did not do as much damage. And it's possible that the spider might even heal up to full here. So, well, that is unfortunate. There's the decreased defense debuff. That is good. Spider's going to go through heal phase, so that's possibly bad, but the next Heartseeker ability should drop the spider down quite a bit, which is good. For the healers, I contemplated which healers to use. Steel Skull isn't really the highest throughput, right? He does have an increased defense with his heal, with his AoE heal, which is pretty good. He also has a single target heal, which cleanses. So that's pretty good. And I was a little bit sneaky, I think, with using Tyrell here, because it makes the spiderlings focus on him. If the spiderlings focus on my 54 Coldheart, like if I used a Zargala or another force character as the lead, the spiderlings would then focus on the 54 Coldheart and she would probably die. And then this wouldn't be possible. So maybe that is a little secret strategy to try out. Choose a character that they can focus on. Maybe choose an AoE character with retaliation gear. Retaliation gear, so that they'll auto AoE everything back. Or maybe stick with a defensive character that's a bit more tanky with vamp gear, like I have here. Both those options kind of work. It looks like, based off how these fights go, it seems like most of the fights are very winnable. Right? Even if it keeps going more than 2 rounds, if it goes to another round of spider healing, I feel like I have the sustain to keep all the characters up. Tyrell can tank most of the little spiderlings, and this feels like a pretty solid build. So even if it took longer, it took like 5 minutes, it's still not terrible for being able to auto stage 15, potentially the hardest dungeon. And yeah, I don't think you'd go wasting too much energy with this. Your Tayrel will need to be a little bit geared up. Obviously, he has defense percentage on his chest. He has speed boots. I think he's actually wearing crit damage, or might have defense percent on his gloves. Yeah, I think I just have him purely defensive with a bunch of accuracy, so that he can just, as long as he keeps decreased attack up on the clan boss, that was his main purpose. I think he does that fine. And a good measure is if you can survive 10 spider hits. That's a good indication that your guy's tanky enough. A full round of spider hits. Potentially you could use, I think Doom Priest probably could keep him up. Doom Priest with speed, but it wouldn't be as much healing as Steel Skulls there, but definitely an option. Cool epic ring. That's a pretty good one, I think. Good for a demon spawn character. Hopefully it rolls lots of HP. So there you have it. There is the Spider's Lair with no legendaries.